Hello, word listeners. Welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, Alex, and today we're diving into a fascinating word, conception. Now, conception as a noun is a rather sophisticated word, typically found at the C1 level of English proficiency. It refers to the forming of an idea, a plan, or understanding. It's about how we mentally grasp something. So, think of it as the initial stage of developing an understanding or a belief about something. For example, you might say, "My conception of justice differs greatly from his." This implies you have a developed understanding, a formed idea of what justice entails, and it contrasts with someone else's understanding. In everyday language, conception isn't necessarily used every single day, but it's crucial in academic writing, formal discussions, and whenever you need to express a well-thought-out idea. Let's explore some synonyms that can help us understand conception better. A strong synonym for conception is understanding. For instance, instead of saying his conception of the problem was flawed, you could say his understanding of the problem was flawed. Another synonym is idea. You could say, she had a brilliant conception for a new business, or she had a brilliant idea for a new business. Notion is another close synonym. The conception that hard work always leads to success is not always true is similar to the notion that hard work always leads to success is not always true. We can also use the word perception. For example, his conception of reality was distorted can be expressed as his perception of reality was distorted. Finally, let's consider impression. Although not always interchangeable, in some contexts, impression works well. What is your conception of beauty? Can be similar to what is your impression of beauty. Now, let's flip the coin and look at some antonyms, words that have the opposite meaning of conception. A key antonym is misconception. While conception implies a forming of an idea, misconception means a wrong or inaccurate idea. He had a misconception about the requirements of the job, demonstrating a misunderstanding, the opposite of a clear conception. Another antonym could be ignorance. Where conception is a formed idea, ignorance is the lack of knowledge or information. His ignorance of the subject was evident, showing a complete lack of conception or understanding. Misunderstanding is another strong antonym. Due to a misunderstanding, the project was delayed, reflecting a lack of correct conception. Think also of naivete. Her naivete regarding the complexities of the situation led to problems, indicates a lack of a realistic conception. Finally, consider bewilderment. This describes a state of confusion, the complete opposite of having a clear conception. The complex instructions left him in a state of bewilderment, so he couldn't form a conception of how to proceed. How can we use conception in everyday life? While it might not be something you use in casual conversation with friends all the time, it's very useful when discussing plans, theories, or opinions. For example, if you're discussing a book with a friend, you might say, "My conception of the main character changed as I read further." If you're talking about a new project at work, you could say, "The initial conception of the project was different from what it is now." You can also use conception to express your understanding of abstract ideas. What's your conception of happiness? You might ask. Here are some more examples of conception in sentences and phrases. The artist's conception of the painting was vastly different from the critic's interpretation. The conception of the new product took several months. His conception of the world was shaped by his experiences. I have a different conception of what constitutes a fair deal. The architectural conception was innovative and groundbreaking. The movie challenged my conception of reality. Her initial conception of the role proved to be accurate. The entire project was based on a faulty conception. The scientist's conception led to a major breakthrough. My conception of a perfect vacation involves relaxation and adventure. So, to summarize, conception means the forming of an idea, a plan, or an understanding. We discussed synonyms like understanding, idea, notion, perception, and impression. We also explored antonyms such as misconception, ignorance, misunderstanding, naivete, and bewilderment. We saw how conception is used in everyday conversations and more formal settings. Thank you for joining me on Hello Word today. I hope you found this episode helpful. Remember to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Your support helps others discover the show. Now for your challenge. Create your own sentence using the word conception and share it as a comment below. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Until next time, keep learning and keep exploring the wonderful world of words.